Hey guys, Nikki D on 5 Dog Farm, and here's something I never thought I would say. Want to go on a garden tour? So believe it or not, here we are in our first garden tour together. Honestly, when this started, I didn't think I'd want to show you a thing. I mean, I knew I had to. That was the whole premise of doing the videos, was saying, we don't know what we're doing, don't feel bad. However, there were some failures I really took to heart, and the gardening was a big one because one of the biggest parts of wanting to homestead that Mr. Blue Jeans and I had was better food. And besides the livestock, we do love vegetables, and being able to bring those to the table for us and the rest of the family was hugely important to me. With me being the only full-timer, it rested on my shoulders to do it. And it really wasn't my gig. It just wasn't something I had ever really done well. I puttered, I played, I failed. And then Mr. Blue Jeans had said, you know, you can do anything you set your mind to. And I realized I didn't set my mind to it. I let it scare me. And I changed my mind about it. I mean, it's such a silly thing, but I changed my mind and said, okay, I can do this. I can start with something easy and do it. And even if it's just tomatoes and lettuce that we have, then so be it. We have tomatoes and lettuce. I can can that. We love salads. But after I had that bit of success, the seeds this year sprouted well. As you can see, the lettuces came up incredible. Changing my mind made the difference. And so here we are on our first and hopefully more than one garden tour. I think I'd like to take you throughout the season. Now that I've got my feet wet, I would really like to try cold framing. No promises this year because there's a lot of structures that are going up. But I would love to garden year-round. We have all the books. Here we go again, more reading. But you know, you got to learn somewhere. So let me take you around and show you what we have. We have 4 or 5 more planters coming, so we'll do another garden tour as those come in incrementally. But I just thought I would show you that if I can do it, you can do it. You can do it. So let's start at the new planters. This is a skinny planter where my thought was we would go ahead and do a lot of root vegetables in it. These planters, as you can see, are deeper than our old cedar planters because my thought was the root vegetables would have more room to grow. So, and I just kind of wanted to go a little bit bigger. So Mr. Blue Jeans has been kind enough to build these for me. He's going to build a few more. We're actually going to go over the fence, expand the fence towards the forest tree line. And maybe sometime in the future plant some sort of shade plant too, hostas or something, just something pretty. But what we have here is what you see in the corner is Black Beauty zucchini. I planted 2. There's one at each end. I did that specifically so it could go through to the other Jurassic garden that someday will be our market garden. We tilled it. I'm sorry we did because we didn't get to it. So we have lovely flowers and weeds. But we're going to go ahead and have those zucchinis go out that way. I couldn't wait, and I just wanted to get the vining plants in. There's a Roma tomato right here, and in between, under the mulch, I have planted in this section Danver 126 carrots, a new one. I've never done it. Most of these are Baker's Creek. I have a lot of different seeds, but I would say that my majority are probably Burpee Heirlooms, Baker Creek, and Adaptive Seeds. They're out of Washington. I love them a lot too. So over here I have another tomato. That's a yellow pear. And then I've got a Bonnie Bell green pepper right here. And on this side of the planter, I have planted my favorite French breakfast radishes. So we're gonna, in time, we'll come back here and hopefully what we see are little sprouts of goodness coming up. As you can see, I have more things to plant. These are flats of things that I still have yet to plant, and Mr. Blue Jeans is bringing down today some of my starts, including my cucumbers, which I can't wait to get up. So here is a Mexibel, and for any of you on the Facebook page, you know that last year I gave away free seeds, and we've had quite a few people who have been so generous, and they'll pop up on the page and say, I've got a bunch of extra seeds, would you like some? Super appreciative. I got lupus from Sharon this year, and I cannot wait to get those in. So there's the Mexibel. Here's another tomato I've never heard of. You guys probably have. It's a Juliet tomato. So I'm curious to see what happens there. Basil, we use a lot of basil. I adore pesto. I like basil in a fruit salad. I like basil in a cold water. Man, if you just take cold water and put it in your fridge and pop a couple of basil leaves in it, and then you drink that when you're out gardening or out in the heat, it's so refreshing. And then, can you guys believe I only got one Tabasco? I only got one Tabasco. I'm heartbroken, but that's fine. I'm getting my feet wet, like I said, and I'm not going to have it upset, so I just have one. And then this planter is 3 different types of carrots. So along this line here, I did Danver 126. Along this line here, I did, God, what did I do here? Oh, Cosmic Purple. And along here, I did, gosh, I think it's called an early, oh, this one's an early scarlet horn carrot. It's kind of stubby, and I thought it was really cute, so we'll see how that goes. Along here you can see I have more flats to get planted. I know, I went crazy. But I know it's not just me that happens to. So here is my cabbage, which I am just shocked about. Here's my foot. There's the cabbage, just so you have an idea of the size of this amazing cabbage. This is Dutch cabbage, in with the Swiss chard that also went monstrous. The Swiss chard has just done a fabulous job, and we cooked it up the other day, and I didn't have a lot of time. So I braised it in the Instant Pot with some fresh garlic, some onions, and chicken broth, and it was delicious. So there's definitely more Swiss chard on our horizon. Back here I have a beef steak and another beef steak, and right here a cayenne pepper. The hot sauce this year is going to be very interesting, don't you think? 2 red beefsteak tomatoes in here. A lot of new varieties for me. You can look in here. We have asparagus also coming up. Now, I really didn't want to have asparagus in the beds like this, but because I had no place else for them, and this is one of those little surprises Mr. Blue Jeans came home with, there's more over here, I planted them. They'll probably end up taking over the bed at some point. I don't have a lot of asparagus experience, so we'll find out. But there you have it. Back here, those are little marble peas. I wasn't sure whether to trellis them or not, so I just went ahead and did it. I grew these from seed, you guys. I'm so excited. There's about 8 of them in here, and I'm really excited about, these are my babies. So those are coming up. For any of you who are familiar with Mel Bartholomew's square foot gardening, it's something I did in Wisconsin and felt very comfortable with. It felt like somebody was holding my hand. Here, in this little square, this is what you can do. And for me, I needed that instruction, and it makes me feel comfortable. So I sort of squared off every single box we have. Has these eye hooks, which I can use for other things too, trellising or what have you, so I didn't think it was a waste, but it just made me comfortable and gave me more confidence. So I did it to each box. I have not planted each box with something in the squares, but the majority I think will have something. So this planter is more of a surprise planter. It hasn't really been fleshed out yet. I have some kind of brassica that I planted and didn't write it down. Since doing that, I have been writing everything down every single time because I don't want to go through this again, but this will be a surprise. Kind of looks like broccoli to me. I don't know, you guys be the judge. Anyway, I've got some flat leaf parsley. There are the cucumbers I told you I grew from seed. Those are Boston pickling. Very excited about those because I definitely want to do some pickles this year. Not enough for as much canning as I would like to do, but again, it's a start. I can't say enough about this planter. I love this planter. Okay, this crazy setup here is because I learned that guinea hens like garlic. They like onions. They like to eat the tops of them and leave none for mom. So I threw this over the top. This was a structure we had temporary in the guinea coop. little fencing thing, and I just threw it over the top when I first put them in, and it has kept them away, which is fantastic. So I've been cutting garlic scapes and cooking with those, or just chopping them up and putting them in the salad. As you can see, we have more here. Oh, they're just so delicious. So this is Nootka Rose, and I will absolutely be planting this again because I don't think one bulb didn't take. I mean, look at this gorgeousness. I am so excited about this planter. However, when you turn to this planter, I've got a couple more cabbages in here. Those are 2 Savoys and a couple of, or sorry, 3 Savoys and a couple of romaines. A couple things with this planter. It needs another boost, so I'm going to be composting it today and weeding it a little bit. This had romaine red garlic in it. Let me see if I can find one of the sad bits that's left. I don't know what happened. That might be it here. I have no idea what happened to this, but happen it did. And I will try this variety one more time, assuming that maybe the guineas got to it. Maybe the mix wasn't good. I don't know. Both these planters were kind of the same, you know. I don't understand. I don't understand. But it is what it is, and there you have it. I've got some contained mints. This is sweet mint, our horseradish that eventually I'm thinking I want to put out back in here. So if any of you have grown horseradish, if it does good with a little bit of shade, I don't mean back where it's dark, but right in front of it, let me know what you think about that kind of an area. It is sort of southeast facing. All right, so back to here, and then we've got a, this is a peppermint, a spearmint, my beloved rosemary, more of that to come, and then a lavender. I was not going to plant herbs. I was saving the herbs for the farmhouse garden. I wanted a kitchen herb garden and a medicinal garden. But I couldn't stand it. So I potted them, and when the time comes, I'll either bring them up to the farmhouse or leave them here and just grow more. We'll see. All right, I have not taken care of this planter yet. This is sort of a last year planter. That tomato there, which is a early girl, is a new one that's going in. You'll see cages here. They were here because I didn't realize our frost was going to last as long as it did. I calculated via Farmer's Almanac when our frost was supposed to end and set everything out, not paying attention to the weather. Lesson learned, killed every first batch of potted plants we had bought. So I will never do that again. I will consult both Farmer's Almanac and the weather to find out when. I was supposed to be putting stuff out in the end of April, beginning of May, and I did, and I shouldn't have. So here we are. But what we have besides weeds in here are some more garlic, which is from my original garlic that I had bought at a big box store and just went ahead and planted. Really healthy grass. And oregano that lasted from last year. Look at that. I did nothing. I didn't cover it. I threw mulch over the top in hopes. And look at that. So I think if I do a cold frame this year or some type of better covering, well, I can't say it would do better, but it will be protected, and hopefully we have it again next year. And then here is another tomato that's going to go in, which is a Golden Jubilee tomato. I am working on this particular bed right now. You can see the coverings. I am not a warm weather girl. I burn, and it's uncomfortable. So I have as many umbrellas. This is a broken umbrella Gigi had, and she donated it, so I've propped it up. What we have here is the Savoy cabbage is here, and I'm putting in red cabbage. And guys, I think this is wisteria. I have tried several times now to plant wisteria on the farm, and the last one got eaten by something, I think a deer, I don't know, it was up by the farmhouse, and I was destroyed. I adore wisteria, one of my favorite flowering plants. So if this is a wisteria, I'm going to let it go a little bit more and see what it does. I'm going to transplant it and cross my fingers that it will grow. More garlic from last year, and again, more asparagus here. Well, there's our first garden tour together. I hope you enjoyed it. is pretty cool to be able to discuss things that a year ago I didn't even know about. Nootka rose garlic, who knew? So it's definitely the very beginning. I'm hoping to get later in time into more exotic things. Let's face it, those seed packages, have you seen those atomic grape tomatoes from Baker Creek? I have to grow those. But I know that right now at the beginning that is not something that I could do successfully. So with a few successes under my belt, we'll try those later. In the meantime, there'll be more recipes, more garden tours, and hopefully comments from all of you. You probably saw something here that you said, oh, Nikki D, those don't work together. Let me know. Just post in comments. I also post the garden tools that I use and love down below, so take a look at the show notes to see what you like. I also put the recipes on the blog, and the links are usually there too. We'd love to have you visit. And we also have a Facebook page where people have questions and wonder, what is this plant? The other day somebody posted a plant, and everybody helps to figure out what is that weed or what is this plant, and it's just a great place to go to for resources and good old homesteading friendships, because boy, we need it. It's kind of solitary sometimes, isn't it? Well, thanks for tagging along. I appreciate it. Looking forward to bringing you more garden tours and everything else. This is Nikki D from 5 Dog Farm, and I'll talk to you soon.